The team I'm most looking forward to playing in best of threes, probably Dig. They have this whole new roster. They'll be the first match we play. They have a couple players that I used to play with in the past, so that'll be fun.
The 2023 faces. I was playing last split.
That's also true. Let's remind the people who's coming back. I guess the biggest face is already there. Licorice is coming back to the top lane. It's been some time. He's been a split. Spica is another name from Dignitas' side.
Former C9 players, actually.
All of them.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Graphic proof.
I didn't know when Spica was on C9, but I guess he was.
Yeah, but Jensen, Licorice, Isles was also on C9 Academy for a time, and then Zven as well. Several championships with C9. So, what were you calling Dig, Raz?
I didn't call him anything.
What color of C9 were you calling him?
C9 yellow, I put that out there.
It's a yellow team.
It is a yellow team. That's just how it goes. You know, wherever your mind takes you, go for it. But like the familiarity is definitely there between all of these players. Even like talking to Jan before we were on air, how he just mentioned that like this is the real rivalry between both Dignitas and C9.
Raz, I brought something to help you keep track. It's
thank you.
Easy to read.
How do we walk through this? Walk me through
All right,
it.
so this is every connection I could find between the current Cloud9 starting roster and the current Dignitas starting roster, including their coaches. Thanatos is out here by himself. He's new, obviously coming over from the Dom 1 academy system. But yeah, we have Blaber has a ton of connections. You start with 2017 NA Scouting Grounds class of Blaber, Spica, and VULCAN, which we've talked about a lot. I think Zven has the most at 8 or 9 different connections to players that he's either rejoining on this Dig roster or has played against or with on the C9 roster. So it's really fun. Who remembers that Spica and VULCAN were even on the same team last summer?
Do we have a scan of this that is going to be on your social media or something?
You better put this on.
Yeah, I was trying to get a good picture of it. Yes, producer said we did.
absolutely do have one. That's amazing, Emily. Jack as well, excited to play versus C9. Oh, alumni. I thought he had a fancy name for it. Yeah.
That's insane. I actually forgot some of the ties that you had. They were also a bit from scouting grounds too. So there's just a lot between the players that is extremely familiar.
Yeah, and the one person that was new, we're going to get people up to speed with him. So let's check out with Chronicler for the lowdown on the new top lane of Cloud9.
Hey everyone, it's Chronicler here. I wanted to take a short amount of your time to talk about one of my favorite prospective top laners, Thanatos, previously of D+ Kia. Incredible player, someone that I have been really excited to watch over the last couple of years. Double MVP of the finals of Spring 2022 and 2023 as well. Also, even as recent as last summer, was All-Pro first for the top lane. It's a player that I would have absolutely loved to see in the LCK. I think that he really has a very cool, aggressive playstyle that hopefully you guys will get to enjoy as well.
Thanatos gonna put an end to their hopes and dreams as he will take out the entirety of the team, picks up a triple kill.
Please, I ask of you, take good care of him. Right, I really wanted this player in the LCK. We didn't get him, so I'm counting on all of you to give him a warm welcome. And I can't wait to see how we will do over there. I'm sure C9, who had obviously a bit of a rough one, is really going to appreciate having him in the top lane.
And by the way, if you guys ever drop by the Chroniclers Challenger League, just his channel, just rub it in his face that we have Thanatos. That's the one thing he hates, the fact that we ended up getting him.
And Berserker. Anyway, let's pull out the predictions for the next series. Cloud9 pulling from the top of LCK Challengers. Once again, I think hoping to get a top lane Berserker version right here. And Cloud9 across the board. But Raz, you're the most decisive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do think, so for both teams, I view them to be playing towards bot side pretty aggressively. We didn't get to talk about Dignitas' play style as a team, and I expect it to be playing towards Zven and Isles. And I think that right now, Cloud9 is the team that has the better bot lane in my eyes immediately right from the get-go. Dignitas needs some running ground because they just had a lot of players that I think are just rusty. That's my perspective. And I think Reaper will do a lot of good work for this team and being able to focus them in on a specific play style.
Awesome. Couple minutes from the series, and we caught up with the coaches right before the series.
What's up, guys? I've got Coach Mabry here from Dignitas side and Coach Reaper here from Cloud9. I'll start with Reaper because it's been a long time since we've seen you. Yeah. How's it been? What have you been working on? And how has it been acclimated with Cloud9 right now?
Honestly, it's been a good time hanging out with the boys at the boot camp. We did boot camp in Korea, and then we did some good improvement at the time. And then going back to the NA, feels pretty good, like home, you know?
Yeah.
And then, we prepare first match for like, you know, we don't know what they're gonna preparing, and then we don't know what's gonna priority or the meta right now. I mean, we kind of know, but in the LCS right now, right? So we're preparing ourselves to just performing our best. Yep, that's it.
Sounds good. And speaking of preparation, Mabry, from last split to this split, it's been a vastly different Dignitas. You guys have like an experienced lineup. But with that said, not having much time to play, like for instance, Spica haven't been seeing much play time, same with Licorice. So how's it been kind of like working with this team in the meantime?
It's definitely been an experience. Like you said, we've changed about 4/5 of our roster, and we've only started scrimming about 2 weeks ago compared to these guys who've been in Korea. So we definitely have a lot of catching up to do, but I believe like throughout the split, we can improve a lot, and it's already been going really well.
That sounds good. I mean, there's a lot of familiarity between both the players. Has there been any exchanging words? Anyone's talking?
Good luck.
Good luck, good luck.
All right. Well, we'll see it. It's going to be Cloud9 versus Dignitas right after this. Thank you.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Riot Games Arena here in Los Angeles, California. We're continuing our best of 3 action with our second series of the day. Cloud9 taking on Dignitas. And as you guys already touched on it in the lounge, there's a lot of history between all of these players today.
Man, there is so much. I'm kind of sad. Like, I love that we get best of 3, but I'm sad that the next time we'd see these two teams play would actually be in the playoffs, because I want to see the growing rivalry between these teams. And I also really just want to see how rusty this Dignitas team would be, because if you took the peaks of all these players, they'd be absolutely incredible. But it's been years. Hello, Kangas. It's been years since Zven has played AD carry. It's been almost a year since Licorice and Spica have been playing in the LCS, because the time from end of summer to start of summer has got to be around 9.5 months since they've played professional league. So I just want to see how well these guys have stayed conditioned and how quickly they can back into tournament shape.
Yeah, and when you look at some of the peaks on this Dignitas roster, they have accolades to boast, similar to what is on the current C9 roster as well. Spica was a former MVP back in, I want to say, what, spring 2021? I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Well, one time in 2021. Might have been summer. Spring or summer?
Yeah, spring or summer.
Yeah, look at this. 1 LCS MVP. Weirdly, that Spica's the only MVP with all the success that Jensen has had in the past. Never was able to quite get the MVP. 9 LCS titles between them. So many Worlds appearances. And that's going to be the goal for these guys, is to not have the 9-man sleep, but to make it to the World Championship. Once again, Jensen wants to go to Worlds.
Yeah. Just correcting here, it was 21 summer for Spica, but a lot of accolades for this team. Multiple All-Pros for Zven when he was in AD carry, as well as Licorice. Going into this match, we've already seen a lot of priority for things like the Skarner, the Rumble, a lot of top lane bans, but also we're seeing Corki Tristana almost every single game today.
We are. The Corki Tristana trades are very real. It's happening around the world. I want to talk about Cloud9 just a little bit too, because you see an old face as the coach there, Reaper, returning to Cloud9, won multiple titles with that team. Possibly also going to be helping Thanatos along into his first LCS game. So a mix of young and old. And Cloud9 really had an incredibly disappointing split based on expectations. Like, you take us back to week 1 of spring split, we were talking about like, yeah, it's like a 50-50 that C9 wins the whole thing, right?
Yep.
And now that's not the conversation whatsoever, even though on their paper they made an upgrade from last split. So I really want to see how well they can hit the ground running here.
Yeah, and I think it's not a diss to the overall roster as a whole, but something was a problem with their early mid-game transition. Whenever they never found those snowballs after 14 minutes, it's like, well, what does the team do? And they never found that synced up point between VULCAN, Blaber, and jojopyun as a 3-man core that really needs to be synced up when they're on the map together.
Absolutely. They were a win lane or lose everything.
Lose the game!
And it's strange with the acquisition of Thanatos that I don't see that necessarily changing from a personnel perspective, but that doesn't mean that they haven't been able to work on teamwork, communication, and unified vision of the way they want to end the game.
Yeah. Obviously, I think that not only comes from the roster itself, but also Reaper. Hopefully that coaching staff change will instill a more regimented and disciplined way of playing the game at that point. But we've gone through the ban phase. Senna, Kalista, Ashe all taken off the table. Rumble, Tristana, and Skarner from the other side. Corki the first pick for Cloud9.
Yeah, and it's because Dignitas has set up a bit of a pinch here with the mid lane trade. So because you can't trade Corki Trist, it puts a really high priority on picking the Corki first. When you have Jensen, you always have the option of just playing Orianna. So maybe that's what Dignitas will end up matching with later on in this draft.
Other priority picks on the table are going to be things like if you want to look down for a jungle option early, if you want to skirmish. Vi is still a popular option despite the changes we've had to AP items, making Faded Ashes a great subcomponent that allows junglers like Karthus, which we saw earlier today, clear the jungle fast. But Blaber is a big fan of that Nidalee, and we know that Spica is also a fan and just wanted to take that away.
Absolutely. If you're trying to figure out if Blaber is going to be preferential to the power farming jungler meta or what we just saw Umpty doing, which is a lot of Maokai and Sejuani, I could have likely guessed that he was going to be on the power farm side, and it's confirmed here with the Nidalee Leona. I say the two together because I feel like it's really important that you have some type of good lockdown for Nidalee to land free spears and have really potent ganks in the early game.
Yeah. No Nautilus picked for Cloud9. They opted for the Leona, which was something that I was a little curious about even in the FlyQuest series, opting for that same choice instead. Nautilus is still available on the table if Dignitas want to go down that route, but they did lock in the Vi, and comboing that with Taliyah, I mean, it's just spring split all over again.
Absolutely. So Jensen just is going to be happy with the Taliyah versus Corki matchup. When I look kind of early on into summer split across all the regions, even though you can play Taliyah in the jungle, it is more prominent as a mid laner, and obviously with the Vi locked in, the early game is set for Dig in terms of mid jungle.
A ban towards Berserker's Ezreal. We know that one of the other champions that he has picked up quite a many pentakills, I think 3 to his name so far, is that Zeri, which Jan just had a fantastic game on.
True.
Normally you would want something like an enchanter to really buff up its stats during that mid-game phase, but could be an option. There's still other AD carries that are available. Despite many of those bans already being thrown out the door, Rakan also being taken away from Dignitas. That was one of Isle's best champions from Spring Split, even in their first game against Shopify. Was absolutely, or not Shopify, it was Immortals. Super awesome display there. And the Renekton being taken off the top away from Thanatos, who, that I believe that was his most picked champion back when he was active as a player in LCK Challengers in Season 13.
Yeah, you got Renekton, Gnar, K'Sante, Jack. So really just the top lane bruisers. General meta stuff, nothing super shocking there. If Dignitas ends up blocking support here, they're going to be saving counter pick for Licorice, which I think is pretty important when you have a welcome to the LCS game for Thanatos. Wouldn't be shocked if the K'Sante gets locked in because it's a little bit of a safe pick. The Kai'Sa, though, is a little bit more surprising. It's only about a 10% presence globally in terms of bot laners. I was actually, if I was going to pick one, I was going to say Caitlyn for them, but the Kai'Sa is definitely more aggressive. Cloud9 is looking to go in.
Yeah. You would have thought that with Nidalee, you want something that guarantees lane dominance, but with Kai'Sa being locked in, every one of these champions from Cloud9 has the ability to move forward. And that's the type of game that they really want to play and establish in this first game against Dignitas.
Really looking forward to this, and no matter what happens in this game, we will be playing at least one more. LCS now playing best of 3s for the summer split, and it puts so much stake on this actual match because this is the only time Cloud9 and Dig will be playing this entire week. So you lose, that's a winless week.
Yep.
And you're going to have to spend that entire next week hoping to get the win. So it's very important that each match ends well.
There's so many rivalries that are already brewing in the LCS across the whole, and I think one of the newest rivalries we're going to have is between Zven and Berserker, our former duo back when Zven was essentially sent to the Academy team to make room for the debut of Berserker in 2022, and then Zven looked at his options and said, well, I still want to play an LCS, I guess I'll have to be the support. They won 2 titles with that duo, and now he is going to be playing against him as an AD carry once again. goodness, the studio comes alive with a chance. And we are heading into the beginning of our second series of the day. Nothing too spicy to open up the map so far. Everyone's just taking the 5-man spread.
You mentioned a little bit about the Zven versus Berserker, but I'm also interested in Zven versus VULCAN.
Sure.
The support he played with and won a title with in 2021 spring when Zven was playing AD carry. And Zven is someone we actually got to spend a little bit of extra time with last year because he joined us in the lounge for a lot of the LCS playoffs and LCS finals. And he's just a guy who I feel like with basically a decade of winning. He started his career in Origin, made it all the way to the World Semifinal, won many titles in North America, won titles in Europe with G2. So he's just someone who really understands how to win. And it's, in terms of coming back to AD carry, like, yes, it is hard to hit the ground running on AD carry, but he boot camped in Korea throughout the spring split and hit over 1,000 LP in Challenger. So if there is a guy who'd be able to come in and just, quote, like, look fine as the AD carry, it would actually be Zven because he's basically put in the hours and he has so much experience to draw from. So I'm just really interested to see how this plays out for Zven.
Sure, and he's been putting in the hours during this split where he was not playing professionally on LCS. I know that he's been playing a lot of solo queue. I think he was playing solo queue over in Korea as Jensen taking a lot of damage on the trade from jojopyun. Zven, I think, is either ranked 9 or ranked 7 on the NA solo queue ladder right now. So he is ready for the start of Summer Split.
Yeah, he always puts in the time. This mid lane matchup between Jojo and Jensen is something we've seen many times. When Jojo first came in the league, Jensen would actually speak very highly of Jojo for how strong he is in lane. And I don't expect anything super spicy to happen in a Taliyah versus Corki matchup, even if Corki got a solo kill in our first series. But I'm more wondering how they're going to overall impact the map as we see in the region.
VULCAN just getting feisty with Isles, just establishing lane dominance as they're crashing a big wave. You already see Blaber has cleared towards the bottom side of the map, almost done with the full clear. Will be making towards the Krugs afterwards and be looking for that bot crap, whereas Spica cross map on the opposite side playing towards Licorice.
Yeah, so Blaber, you want to put your full clear tracker on him for Nidalee because that's generally what's going to happen now that it's going to be slightly more efficient with the experience changes that have happened. And to go into a little bit of detail about why you might be seeing more farming junglers is, especially as you hit like the 10 to 15 minute mark, the jungle camps then will be giving you more experience. So it's not like the first clear is like, wow, you're suddenly level 5 after killing a Scuttle Crab. It's more about your ability to keep pace with the solo laners' levels as the game progresses. Same thing with bot lane actually as well. The duo experience was increased, so the supports themselves and the AD carries will not be falling as far behind in levels from the rest of the map.
Yeah, it gives a lot more value to picks like the Karthus or even the Lilia and Nidalee as well, who are able to clear the camp so fast that I think around that level 9 mark, they are just able to benefit as long as the game hasn't completely exploded around them, which I feel like that is going to be Spica's job this game. It's not like Vi cannot necessarily keep up, but definitely has a slower clear speed. And for Vi, that power comes from level 6 once you unlock the cease and desist. You want to be coming mid lane. You want to be linking up with Isles and looking for kills and plays. As looks like so far, Spica has not found anything quite yet. Still before level 6 is Blaber, still on the top side of the map, where Spica making his way towards the bottom side of the map.
No, it's been a very conservative start to this game. As there's a little bit of training, but it's basically likely just to get the wave in. VULCAN contesting it really aggressively when there's no way they're actually going to fight in that wave. But as a reminder, the last time Zven was playing AD carry, what was happening in the world?
2021.
Yeah, there was a few things. So Perks was on C9. That's how long ago this was.
Damn. I feel like there's more significant things that was happening in 2021.
Do you want to go? We have a few. I was thinking we were going to space it out, so it's like a reminder throughout the series.
You know what? We'll save it as a surprise.
We have some good ones later. We're going to savor this though as we get back to the rest of the game.
I'm curious who's going to be playing for first dragon here. Currently, Zven and Isles have the push, but Blaber is on the bottom side of the map. There's a ward here in the tri-bush that VULCAN is going to clear out. Blaber taking out the control ward in the dragon pit as well. Spica will be barely spotted on that top line brush. VULCAN is going to try to get in Isles' face, but not in range for the Spear to connect from Blaber. They're setting up dominance over the bottom side of the map so far, but neither of the junglers have really committed to either the neutral objectives yet.
No, I mean, I think from Spica's side, as long as he doesn't get invaded or out-pressured by the Nidalee early, he's going to be okay. He wants to level 6 and then probably pull a gank off, and whatever that gank would be when Dignitas wants to go for their first objective. Very controlled early game for both teams. One thing that I'm interested with Dignitas is there was this video put out by Travis Gafford where he had...
Jensen, the flash, jojopyun with the first blood. That's how you got to start off a series.
Okay, Jensen. I mean, really okay, Jojo. That's the second Corki mid lane solo kill we've seen today. Jojo definitely coming to play. And to go to the earlier point, so many of the coaches and players that Travis talked to when he was having them power rank the entire LCS put Dignitas like towards the bottom half, which when you look at the names, you wouldn't think that's possible, but then you do wonder if there's going to be a little bit of rust. Dignitas and Jensen wouldn't be one of those rusty players. This guy was second place in the LCS, went all the way to MSI, but he just steps up a bit too far. Jojo doesn't do anything fancy other than landing a Q, pressing E, and auto-attacking, and then flashing over the Jensen seismic shove. So Jensen with I'd say a whoopsie there while trying to push the wave in, trying to create some minions.
Yeah, Jojo just being able to spot lethal, making the punish, and that's flash for flash. That does open up Jojo to getting punished by Spica if he wants to roam towards mid with the cease and desist combo. As Isles, is he going to be forced to flash here? He's got the dredge line and he's making his way towards the safety of Zven, so no need to burn any summer spells.
Yeah, I think if that first E landed by VULCAN, then maybe Isles would have had to flash because they would have been able to combo a lot of damage on top of that, but when he's able to dodge it, he just kind of walks away and everyone goes back to farming.
During the commotion, we did see that Blaber took the first round of grubs away. Meanwhile, there's been no answer or response on this Dragon Pit yet. It's been a battle of both of the bot lanes trying to gain push and then seeing if it's safe enough to commit to the Dragon, but neither team has been successful.
Yeah, and once Berserker hits level 6, his team fighting will become a lot more potent because then I'd say C9 would also have a little bit more one-shot potential with Kai'Sa being able to fly in there. So far, even though C9 is looking pretty good, I'd also say they don't look that much different. A lot of the criticism from C9 last split would be that they take a bunch of winning lanes and then use it to like get a couple Drakes or take I'm blanking.
Yeah.
Rift Scuttlers, what are those called?
Yeah, the grubs. The little grubbies, right?
Yeah. And then they wouldn't really know how to convert that lead. But right now, 700 gold lead. Blaber getting stronger and stronger. He will be a stronger force throughout the game just by a fact of the experience changes. And they haven't given up any Drakes yet. So I think there's no reason to panic at the moment for C9 as they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's not like Cloud9 have to completely bank on early game or bust with this composition. One of the things that changed about Nidalee throughout the spring split and going into summer is she got a lot of utility packed into her E. Thank you, Freak. I'm a Nidalee main. I've been abusing it in solo queue so far. Blaber now does not have to rely on completely steamrolling the early game. If all goes well and you just stack AP with this champion, you can still provide a nasty attack speed ratio buff to either of your two marksmen, for Jojo and Berserker, and you get insane healing as the game goes on.
They also have first setup on the Drake at the moment, but you can see Zven reset running back into base. But basically just the overall vision coverage that they have here makes them very confident that no one's going to be approaching, not to mention that Dig also showed on that wave over here. So pretty simple Dragon for them to take at the moment. No objectives to be taken on their side of the map, and they're even going for Jensen.
Solar Flare lands on Jensen. The Weaver's Wall gives him a little bit of distance, but VULCAN doesn't have flash anymore, and they cannot close the gap to launch on top of Jensen. Maybe Spica was thinking about trying to look for a counter engage, but he doesn't pull the trigger.
I mean, if they kill Jensen there, that's just a bonus play because they just taken Drake, and normally there'd be a counterplay on the top side of the map, which is what Spica was, in theory, moving up towards anyway. But Thanatos, not in a diveable position, kept his health and condition fairly strong, even if he is down a dozen CS into Licorice. That doesn't necessarily matter since C9 was making a play elsewhere, but here comes Spica.
Okay, Thanatos with a Pathmaker, dodges a little bit of the damage, but the cease and desist and even the all-out is not enough to keep Thanatos alive. Spica equalizes the game.
And welcome to the LCS. He did have his jungler on the way, but that big wave was going to push in towards him, so he didn't necessarily need to be up that far, but he definitely wanted to be up that far because you don't want to just concede the lane entirely. Good gank by Spica. I will say they did kind of know he was up there, and that is one that Thanatos is going to want back.
And I think it's very imperative for Dignitas that every time Spica has ultimate up, you are getting something valuable off the map, whether it's a summoner spell burned or you are getting a kill, because otherwise you do run into the fear of Nidalee starting to outpace you as the game continues to scale up later and later on. We are at 11 minutes, so there's 3 more minutes before all the turret plates fall up. The second rotation of grubs has spawned, and Cloud9 are the first ones there.
So I think they're going to get a lot of these grubs. Jensen is trading for plates on the bottom side, so Jensen just getting gold on Taliyah right now. Spica's in the bot lane. So 6 grubs, which are good if you're in a position to hit towers, which they have not yet. They've actually taken 0 plates as a team, but now they're going for Licorice.
4 members committed to the top side. Licorice does have the Keeper's Verdict. We'll see how well he can use it to punt away members, but Thanatos with the Pathmaker will be unstoppable, and Isles is forced to flash away from the pounds, but Blaber might get caught out. Death shards and Licorice with the damage. Blaber is forced to flash away. The Ignite ticking down. Licorice wants the kill, but he cannot close, but it's okay because Zven says, hello, buddy. Did you miss me? And Zven takes him out with the arrow.
Nice roam up at the end by Zven, but I'd say mainly a beautiful play by Licorice, finding the initial slam onto Blaber, chunking him out, and making them retreat. So C9 originally invested 4 people top lane for that pressure attempt. They get no kills, 1 plate, and lose their jungler. So really nice counter there by Dignitas.
Gold lead not massively ahead for Dignitas, but if we bring up spring split games where Cloud9 were behind gold at 15 minutes, Jatt, remind me, how many games did Cloud9 win?
Not a lot. So at a certain point, it was 0. I think they might have won one in the playoffs at some point.
Maybe.
But yeah, we're ticking towards that 50-minute mark, and they are not ticking towards a gold lead, losing even more plates in the bot lane. A consequence of all the lane swapping as well was also, yeah, it was 0. It also means that the first turret bonus gold is increased to 300. It looks like Dignitas is going to be able to get that. It was 150 previously.
Yeah.
So they might be even further ahead by 50 minutes if they're able to crack that bottom tier 1.
All right, so then here is the big question that we will be asking for Cloud9 throughout the summer season, not just for this series. How well can Cloud9 play their game even when they're behind in gold going into the mid game? Because that was a big pain point that plagued their entire season, not just regular season, but also into the playoffs as well. And I know that Thanatos coming in over Fudge is not necessarily going to solve that right away, but maybe with Reaper on board, that is a change that can happen over time.
That would be the hope. To me, Thanatos is not a solution to that specific problem. I think he's supposed to be an amazing laning prodigy that you want to be able to get on your team and have him grow over time. But so far, it does seem like a pretty slow start for Cloud9. A lot of the same strengths we've seen from them in Spring Split, and some of the same weaknesses. But that's based off of, you know, only 14 minutes of play, so it's too hard to make a definitive move yet, as I think the Rift Herald as well as the next Dragon will be the next points of conflict.
30 seconds on that second Dragon you called out. Rift Herald already alive. Doesn't seem like either team is set up quite yet, but Cloud9 having the first touch on mid-wave, trying to see if they can fade into the top river and push that encroaching vision line further into the Dignitas jungle, but I was able to contest it with Spica. He's going to be hovering in the mid lane.
Yeah, and currently Spica has his first legendary. Blaber does not. Blaber also doesn't have a flash, so it's kind of hard for Blaber to want to get involved right now, as he's likely going to be the weaker of the 2 junglers if he does show his face somewhere. They get the first turret, increasing that gold lead, so they're going to have the 15-minute gold lead, and let's see if Licorice can get out of this one. There's a lot of people coming.
Teleport. This is Cloud9 committing towards the bottom side of the map, but Dignitas, instead of going for the Rift Herald, they want to fade on over to Licorice. I don't even think Licorice needs the rest of Dignitas. They're going to have priority on that mid wave first. They have an opportunity to now go for this Rift Herald after taking down the tier 1.
Wow, teleport jungler and their bottom lane started roaming down. Licorice just basically has to walk away. Jensen's going to be getting so much of that top lane turret. They get half the mid lane turret. I will say it does give C9 Drake number 2, which is definitely a win condition, but it's going to set them further behind in gold. So definitely a trade rather than a win. Yeah, they're even trading for the Rift Herald too.
Yeah. I mean, I think Dignitas wins big on this. They're gaining way more gold with 2 turrets being felled by them. This puts them ahead now, a solid 2,000 gold. The Rift Herald will surely, if they set it up correctly, will get another tier 2 turret in the meantime on their next siege play. I have to ask, obviously Dignitas has a roster with many players that have built up accolades over the course of their career. This should be fine. They're 2 tanks.
Yeah. Sundered Sky Poppy though, so he is going to have a lot of damage over time, and it's definitely a dueling item rather than team fighting item. But you know, now that laning phase is over, looking at the bot laners, Zven slightly up in CS over Berserker with the kill. And just remember, like the last time Zven was playing AD carry, what did the world look like? This is the 2nd of 3.
You're a coach!
Apparently I was coaching Team Liquid. This is how I remember so well that he won 2021 Spring, because I very much remember that I lost 2021 Spring.
Yeah, he kind of beat your booty a little
So
bit.
I'm never going to forget that one. But it's good to see him back as the AD carry. We have one more for later.
Solar Flare, Zven merely sidesteps it, still has Flash and Cleanse if he needs it, but no fear because Isles is there and Licorice will follow up now on VULCAN, who was the one that overextended for the play, and Zven picks up his 2nd kill of the game.
2-0 on Zven, sniping down VULCAN, his former support. VULCAN didn't even really have a chance to flash or saw the necessity to flash. Now 2 turrets to 0, both side lanes are down. C9 isn't really able to get mid control. They're not necessarily pushing the side lanes. Dig is looking pretty good in this game 1.
Jatt, my power predictions are not looking too hot right now. I think I put Dignitas at the lowest because I was on the unconvinced side of putting a new roster together and seeing how well that would click. But I did want to mention that if Dignitas were able to take down Cloud9 or at least be ultra competitive, I was willing to move them up in the power rankings predictions. So far, they're looking pretty damn good.
They absolutely are. A lot of other teams weren't putting them up there as well. And this is a thing that happens with Jensen teams. I will just get out in front of it and say he's not an incredible scrim player, but he's a very solid player on stage. And that's with him being solo killed. But after getting solo killed, he played the side lanes so far quite well as we're 18 minutes into the game. Also, the last one is Zven picked up the 2nd kill, 2-0 in mid lane. What else was happening the last time that Zven was playing AD carry? This one was a bit of a reach, but it's very true, actually, for Zven.
Is it related to esports?
You might be seeing a fight, so hold on that. Oh, anyway, yeah, Kate Winslet.
What is this?
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, she seamlessly slipped into the voice of Big Pennsylvania with
well, the voice, that's going to have to wait. A fight has started out. The Weaver's Wall separates Spica over the wall as he went a little too deep. The flash is not going to save him on that one. All out for Thanatos, grabs Jensen as he flashes over the wall, but still dies to the damage and the long range of Cloud9's backline. Zven charges up an arrow, finds nothing.
Terrible timing on that, by the way, from me for calling that out, because that could have been the turning point in the game. Jensen and Spica both go down, but Licorice trying to protect this Rift Herald. Maybe he's got a bit too far.
Oh, the charge doesn't even go off! Oh, that's a bummer for Dignitas. Cloud9 able to stem the bleeding that was happening after the mid-game. Cloud9 still have 2 dragons to their name. That next dragon spawning in 1:30.
Very close game. I think the ability for Cloud9 to get to Soul Point would be incredibly important. And Jojo, can he escape Licorice here? Oh, doesn't get that stun. That was good positioning by Jojo. No mana left, though.
Has Flash. Blaber's here. The sphere connects. Licorice is going to have to be careful. Steadfast Presence blocks the pounce. And he's able to walk out. Neither opponent dies.
Jojo's in a position to carry this game if Cloud9 is going to win. He's got a strong front line in front of him in Leona and Cassante, and he's got 2 kills on Corki. But let's watch this fight one more time, as it's Isles who sees the window to go in as Jensen flies in over the top, but they just basically spend too long trying to kill VULCAN, don't even get him. Spica, who was thinking of flanking, ends up actually getting caught on the backside, and C9 just did a very good job of reacting to that engage by Dig.
You can see just a little bit of frustration from Spica, knowing that the burden of playing Vi is once you commit with the ultimate. We got more action though. VULCAN getting tagged up by Licorice as he's trying to now kite this one away. jojopyun has arrived to the party with the teleport. The rest of Cloud9 able to maintain posture in this river as they are getting ready for the spawn of the 3rd dragon.
Rapid fire cannon completed for Jojo.
Oh,
doesn't get hit by the ultimate, so now another engage spell down for Dig. It's really hard for them to actually get good position on this Drake. They don't have good control wards in here, so Jensen is fully seen. They don't have mid push, so C9 actually get to dictate this if VULCAN can find a good engage. VULCAN's actually hoping that they come into him so he can Hex Flash over the wall. I'd say they're out of position
Wait,
now.
but jojopyun is the target. He still has Flash, flashing away from Spica and Licorice. Meanwhile, on the right side, Blaber was picked off by Jensen. Licorice now the target. Berserker went in with the killer instinct, but doesn't find the kill. The rest of Dignitas can be happy that they took one kill without dropping a single member.
Oh man, that was really strange for me from Cloud9 because VULCAN was waiting behind the Dragon Pit for a Hex Flash as Jojo was deep within the mid lane. So there was not a cohesive way that fight would ever work. That is, to me, players that are on completely different pages, but Dignitas make the decisive play, get the Drake they need, and stabilize to stop the Soul Point.
Cloud9 missing out on that soul point is going to hurt the way they want to close out the game sooner than later. As for Dignitas, Zven still has not been dropped this entire game. I don't even think he's burned his flash or his cleanse at all. He's been playing a remarkable game so far, and I know that this would mean so much to him as a player who, once again, like we talked about at the top of the series, he had to give up his main spot to make room for Berserker to debut on that Cloud9 squad. If he was able to take him down, even in a game, let alone the entire series, that would give them so much morale and confidence for the rest of the summer split as they're going to engage on the Isles, dropping super low. Maybe they can get a trade, but Blaber gets completely eviscerated by Zven in the backline. And now they're looking for more onto VULCAN. VULCAN will also drop. Jojo tries to join the party, but I think he didn't realize that his team was losing the fight. A triple kill over to Zven.
Zven's back, baby. 5-0, 22 minutes in the first game against Cloud9, and now they turn for Baron. That was just Cloud9 trying to make a big play onto Isles, and Zven just absolutely annihilating him on the backside. I believe he led with the ultimate, just blew up Blaber, and then the extended fight was Cloud9 continually trying to make the best out of a bad situation and making it worse. Baron goes over to Dig. They are now well ahead of this game.
Yeah, and Cloud9 need to be extremely careful, especially around jojopyun in the next fight, because his flash is down, and we'll take a look back at that replay.
Yeah, so you can see Isles runs into two people. They think they're going to burst him. Berserker doesn't have ultimate, so he can't necessarily fly in, and Jojo's trying to fire over the wall, but while all that's happening, Blaber just gets deleted. And then, like, at this point, you could just call it a loss, but Jojo gets jumped on by Jensen. Spica flies on him over the wall. 3 kills, all going to the Varus, who's now going to completely chunk through the Corki, Nidalee, and Kai'Sa. Let's see what Dig can do with this Baron, or if Cloud9 can stop the bleeding.
Zven's got a 400 gold bounty on him. I know if I'm Cloud9 that he has got to be target numero uno, but the problem is that the amount of reliable lockdown from Cloud9 is severely lacking. You don't have any single target CC abilities like Spica's Vi with the cease and desist. You have to hope that the Solar Flare will land. You have to hope that maybe Thanatos can get into the backline, and that's just pretty much it. If Leona doesn't get the CC down on Zven, this guy is untouchable.
Absolutely, both Summers up. Baron minions now crashing. Licorice pushing in mid while Thanatos is shown on top, so a safe 4v4. Unless Thanatos can teleport in, there's that ward behind that they'd want to jump on, and that you can see it on the minimap here, or just above Spica's head right there, same ward. If they push too deep, Thanatos could teleport in and try and flank, and that would be the window for C9 to try and come back. Here it comes.
Teleport right onto the back line, but Dignitas are able to space away into the jungle. Licorice will be the first one to take up the damage. jojopyun is fun! They knew they didn't have flash. It was an easy setup. Spica is able to get away from the rest of Cloud9, as now Licorice is trying to hold down the line against Berserker. He still has flash and barrier, and he's trying to cut this one out, but he might just go down. He's blinking on HP, and Licorice slams his body into the ground. A seismic shove will find Blaber, takes him down as well. Dignitas are on the victory march.
They are running through Cloud9. Cloud9 had the TP ward set up, but Dignitas cheated towards the top side so that they could easily get away from that. Then, as Jojo was just poking his head around the corner, they absolutely annihilate him. So watch this one more time. We called out the TP ward. We knew Licorice in mid lane, so we saw Cloud9 could have a temporary 5v4, but they missed. They just straight up missed the Solar Flare as Dignitas moves up. They get the root from the extended Varusult into the seismic shove, into the Vial, into the dead Corki, and Jojo's position where we thought he could carry this game has led to back-to-back deaths. It is in fact Zven and Dignitas, who are coming out on top. And then
Jatt.
at the backside, like, what are you going to do, Berserker?
Jatt, if you told me last year Dignitas would be absolutely curb stomping Cloud9 in summer 2024, I would not believe you. But this is a brand new roster with 4 familiar faces who have all been passed up during the spring split, during the end of the spring split, and they are here to show that you cannot undervalue them.
And this is just one game.
Yep.
In fact, it might not count at all. That's how the narrative could shift throughout the rest of this. It's the interesting thing about best of threes here in the LCS. This would usually be like, wow, Dignitas takes down Cloud9, but they're going to have to be able to be consistent and not only close this game, but then close one more. I will say, though, in terms of the questions of how's Licorice going to look winning first team All-Pro top lane in 2023 summer, not getting a team and coming back, what's he going to be able to do? He was completely fine. He was up 10 CS against Thanatos in the laning phase, and he's been exceptional in team fights, especially absorbing pressure and dodging ganks throughout a lot of the mid-game. Spica, same question. Yes, honestly, incredibly controversial situation between him and XU. I think XU deserves a chance, but Spica also not responsible for that. Spica just wants to show up and play as well as he possibly can, showing up early here, and then Zven, I think, is the biggest one with all the winning he's done throughout all his career. How well he contributed to so many of C9's, wins throughout their NA run. And now, in his first game back on AD carry since 2021 spring, 5-0-3 on that Varus. Did have to use his flash, but still has his cleanse. Like, he's played so well and so clean in this first game.
Yeah, the AD carry king is back, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are fondly remembering the time that Zven was on that Cloud9 squad and run since 2020 until the end of 2021. And it just goes to show that Zven has had quite the up and down career, having to go down to Academy once his main spot was taken, giving up ego and going over to the support role because he just wanted to play on a team that was going to win championships. And he even developed into a fine, high-level support for the LCS caliber and said, you know what? I want to play AD carry again. Didn't get offers or one offer that stuck for him in the spring. Took his time to grind solo queue, and he is back in form. What an incredible way to open up your summer split.
Absolutely. Still just 2 dragons to 2 in this game. Baron going to be respawning. Much different situation than the time the last Baron spawned. Now a 7,000 gold lead. Let's look to see how Dignitas control this. This is, even though they're veteran players, sometimes combining a lot of veterans can have some big issues because they don't have a cohesive vision of how to play the game.
Yeah.
They're actually a little bit off timer on their resets right now, so they can't hold this space. Zven just came out of mid lane, but I want to see how they play around this Baron to find what could be a game-ending engage.
It's all about how they can gain posture over this river. There's a couple of control wards scattered throughout the river. Dignitas will be using to sweep out Cloud9's own vision. Cloud9, I mean, their methods of engage, it all relies on VULCAN, but Blaber is going to get caught out. The flash means the cease and desist and seismic shove combo will land true. No way for that cat to get out. jojopyun is forced to Valkyrie over to the left side. Meanwhile, VULCAN getting taken out by Zven and Isles. Thanatos will fall, and Dignitas are on their way to take down the Nexus.
So I loved that play because they were actually able to hold the mid lane and even win mid push 3v5, which allowed the rest of the team time to run around the back and flank. And even though it looked like a bit of a reach in terms of the engage, Licorice was way ahead of the rest of the team. There was no hesitation with everybody else flying in to follow up. Spica and Jensen flying in to kill Blaber, and an easy, clean team fight win and Baron take by a Dignitas team that we haven't seen play together before.
Nearly 10,000 gold lead for Dignitas in their first game of the summer split. 13-4 against Cloud9, who still have many questions to answer in this series as we take a look back at the fight.
Here's what I'm talking about. There's only 3 Dignitas people in the mid lane when they win that mid lane fight. So the rest of them can fly down. We got another fight actually in the same spot.
Unfortunately, Jatt, Dignitas are not done with this fight. However, Berserker finds Licorice in the back, but Thanatos is traded by Dignitas. Now 4-on-4. Berserker is half HP. The rest of Dignitas want this fight. They know that Blaber has no flash. The flash cease and desist from Spica finds the jungler of Cloud9. Jojo falls next, and the rest of Dignitas will now take to the mid lane.
Gotta say, Jojo hurts because he killed Spica fast when Spica flew in there. Pretty aggressive build by Spica as well with Sundered Sky, Black Cleaver, and a BF sword at the moment. But the fact that Jojo was able to take one with him, I think will potentially extend this game. If this is a 4 versus 2 push, they might have been able to go for the end. Instead, I think it's going to be the mid lane inhibitor, maybe the bot lane. It is 3v2, and when C9 respawns, they'll have a faster approach to this fight.
Yeah, 10 seconds on Thanatos, 20 seconds on Jojo. So definitely both of these inhibitors will fall, but Dignitas will take this time to reset after. There is another dragon spawning in the next 26 seconds. Maybe Dignitas can stick around, burn down the dragon before they have to reset.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the gold at the moment. Jensen's sitting on 1,500, but it's just going to be his control ward spot. We're going to watch this one more time. Licorice wants to kill Berserker for greeting for this turret, but the rest of Cloud9 reacts pretty well in this situation and is able to get in before anyone else on Dignitas can help out Licorice. And remember, Licorice is a full tank. He's got that Sundered Sky. There's a really high damage build by Berserker there, so he shreds him while that's happening. And yeah, this dragon was never going to be a big contest with the 10,000 gold lead as Dig pick up their third Chemtech of the game.
Yeah, nearly every player on Dignitas is an item ahead of their counterpart. This is quite dire for Cloud9, and we already knew that the track record did not speak favorably for them when it came to being able to win games when they were behind the curve at 15 minutes. And the way that the mid game played out, Dignitas just being quicker on the trigger to make those fast plays, punishing Cloud9 for not being in the right position at the right times. And Cloud9 are going to have a lot of questions to answer going into the second game.
They absolutely will. They still got 20 seconds on this Baron buff, hoping to break down at least this turret.
Cleaver's wall. Going to cut off the members of Cloud9. This is for the game. Thanatos does not get hit, but VULCAN does. The depth charge hits multiple members. The chain of corruption spreading the root. Jojo flashes the arrow, but it's still too low to participate in the fight. The rest of Dignitas cleaning out 2 from Cloud9's squad. The rest of Cloud9 now on the doors of death. Can they defend this base? But we already know that against a team with 13,000 gold ahead, it's not likely to happen. Dignitas, so many questions around this team, but the way they came into game 1 of this summer split, it's looking like a big dig summer, baby.
8-0-7 for Zven. They want to get this Berserker kill too. They want to go for it. Here we go.
Getting more kills for the KDA stats. Pad them up. Dignitas takes the first game win of the series.
A wry smile from Jensen after that one. He did die twice early, but finished 9-2-6. A dominant game 1 showing by Dignitas. 33 minutes, 21 kills to 8. Is Licorice going to be rusty? No. Is Jensen still good? Yeah, actually he is. Spica, Zven. Zven is the one that stands out the most to me. He's back.
Zven is so freaking back, man. I'm here for it. The amount of times that we would get a chance to talk to him behind the scenes and how he was lamenting on, man, I could be up there playing AD carry just as good as these guys, but not being given that chance during 2022 and 23. He now, in that first game, huge statement. This is the way you announce to the rest of the league, do not disrespect me ever again.
Absolutely not. And this Cloud9 team need to be able to bounce back. 1-7 for Blaber's Nidalee. Debut game for Thanatos. 0-4-3 on the Cassante with no real impact plays throughout. We'll see if they can come back.
Yeah, we're going to see how well this series plays out. But for those at home and in the Riot Games studio, this split, you can head over to the Riot Games merch store to support your LCS, your favorite LCS team with the new LCS Tippers. You can even change the patches to show your support for all 8 LCS teams. Hey guys, check this out. If you show it on me, see how there's nothing here?
Yeah.
Bam! Wait, hang on. Bam! Big dig, baby.
Dignitas Tippers.
Dignitas Tippers. I mean, he's got to support the winning team right now. As we head to break, Zven has struck first against Berserker and Cloud9, but we actually had a preview of this AD carry matchup when these guys were teammates last year. Take a look.
Hello and welcome back to the LCS Lounge. There's a question burning in everyone's mind. Who is the best AD carry on Cloud9? We're here to settle that today with a 1v1 following the showdown rules on the ARAM map. First 100 CS, first turret of the kills. They're going to go ahead. They're only allowed to pick and ban AD carry champions. We'll let them take it from here. I'm out. Good luck.
We played like a tandem against Fudge and Blaber, where I'm the keyboard, he's the mouse. And we played Yasuo versus them, and we won. We said top lane junglers have no mechanics. What champ do you want?
Kai'Sa?
Kai'Sa? Okay, okay.
Just no ban, right?
Just ban whatever, yeah?
Yeah.
What? Flash Snowball?
I think so.
Okay. Bang Siri, because he's a one trick. Just in case. Kai'Sa?
Yeah.
One rune. Halo Blade?
Blade?
Okay.
Wow.
Halo Blade, what?
And just whatever.
Treasure Hunter?
Yeah.
What? Triumph?
I don't know, or Taste of Blood?
Yeah. Triumph and Alacrity?
Huh?
In secondary.
Ghost Poro?
Ghost Poro? Okay.
And
Triumph.
Transition Hunter?
Yeah.
This one?
Treasure Hunter, yeah.
And Bone Armor?
No. Attack speed.
Or what?
Attack speed and Triumph.
If anyone's confused, by the way, the reason that says Mark Z is he's just playing on my login.
Because he can't remember his own login.
Oh my gosh.
Wii U.
Just level 3 1v1?
Level 3 1v1? Oh, fuck, I put point W. I'm actually... Oh.
No remake.
Can we remake? Oh, this is... It's actually over. Oh, I'm actually handicapped. It's good. Now I can blame my loss on this. Nice movement. Oh, my DPI is not what it used to be. Oh my god, I can't move my character. My mouse is so slow. 1 second. Wait, don't hit me. Hello. Oh, you're bad.
Oh, sorry.
This framing is funny because Zven
Wow, you are bad.
Yeah.
Huh?
underestimated.
Boomer's
Not
OP
GG?
spec.
No?
No, one more. If you want to GG, we can GG. You want to surrender?
Nope.
Off it.
What the fuck?
Oh, it's over. Woo! Bam!
So bad keyboard.
Keyboard's bad.
Yeah.
We'll have to do this
Zven?
again.
Yeah.
Give him a fair keyboard. Anyways, thank you guys so much. We'll see if Zven ends up playing AD carry.
Yeah.
Back to whatever else is supposed to come after this.
Wait, no, one more. We got one more, no?
That was pathetic. We need one
Again,
more.
again.
Nice.
Nice. Dig season. Dig season.
Kind of low, though.